Picture the most valuable object in the artificial intelligence race. You're probably thinking of a chip, something small, black, impossibly precise. You're wrong. The thing the whole boom is actually waiting on is a grey metal box the size of a small house. It weighs as much as a loaded jumbo jet. It's boring. Nobody photographs it. And right now, in 2026, the world cannot make them fast enough. Every data center, every wind farm, every new factory needs one to touch the grid. Order one today in America, and you might wait 2.5 years. For the big ones, up to 5. I'm Atlas. This is the Chokehold. Let me show you the bottleneck hiding underneath the most hyped story on Earth, and the single American factory the whole thing depends on. Let's start with what this thing even is. It's called a large power transformer. Think of the electrical grid as a plumbing system for electricity. Power plants push it out at enormous, dangerous pressure to travel long distances. Transformers are the valves that step that pressure up and down so it can actually be used. Without them, the grid is just disconnected wire. Here's the problem. These aren't things you pull off a shelf. Each large one is custom-built, by hand, for a specific spot on the grid. And the wait to get one has gone vertical. Before 2020, the wait was around 2 years. By 2026, it's blown out to 128 weeks, about 2.5 years, and for the largest high-voltage units, as long as 5. Prices are up roughly 77% since 2019. This is the least glamorous object in the entire energy system, and it has quietly become the hardest one to buy. Quick aside, if finding the unglamorous bottleneck behind the headline is your kind of thing, subscribing takes 1 click. We do exactly this every week, the single point of failure nobody's looking at. So why can't we just build more? That's where it gets interesting. Because the weight isn't really about the box. It's about what's inside it. At the heart of every transformer is a core. And that core is wound from a very special kind of steel. It's called grain-oriented electrical steel, G.O.E.S. Its crystal grains are aligned in one direction, so magnetic fields slip through it with almost no energy lost. Get that steel wrong, and the transformer runs hot and wastes power. You cannot build a good transformer without it. And here's the reveal. Almost nobody on Earth makes it. It's one of the most difficult steels in the world to produce, and the number of mills that can is tiny. In the entire United States, exactly 1 company makes grain-oriented electrical steel. 1. Cleveland Cliffs, at a single mill in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's it. That's the whole domestic supply of the magnetic heart of the American grid. So what fills the gap? Imports. Around 80% of America's large power transformers come from abroad. Mexico, South Korea, and increasingly, China. Look at this. Chinese high-power transformer imports into the US went from fewer than 1,500 units in 2022 to more than 8,000 by 2025. Sit with that. The country trying to win the AI race, the race it says is the defining contest of the century, is wiring that future together with grid hardware it mostly doesn't make, increasingly bought from its single biggest strategic rival. That's not a supply chain. That's a chokehold with someone else's hand on it. Now bring in the other side of this, demand. Because the timing here is almost cruel. The artificial intelligence build-out is the largest surge in electricity demand the US has seen in a generation. Data center power use is set to roughly double, from about 485 terawatt-hours in 2025 to 950 by 2030, according to the IEA. The four biggest tech companies alone plan to spend more than $650 billion on AI infrastructure in 2026. And all of that money, all of that compute, hits the same wall. You cannot plug a gigawatt of servers into a grid that has no transformer to connect them. So what happens? This happens. Of all the US data center capacity announced for 2026, around 12 gigawatts across 140 projects, only about 5 gigawatts is actually under construction. The rest is stalled. Industry trackers now estimate that roughly half of planned 2026 US data center builds will slip or get cancelled outright. Not for lack of money, not for lack of chips, but for lack of grid hardware and the steel inside it. And it's not just data centers. The IEA warns transformer and grid equipment shortages could delay as much as 1,500 gigawatts of energy projects worldwide by 2030. Solar farms, wind, factories, all of it stuck in the same queue. So watch what the giants do when they can't wait. They route around the grid entirely. They build their own power on site. Gas turbines, fuel cells, whatever fires up fastest, just to avoid the transformer line. We did a whole episode on that move. But here's the part even that doesn't fix. Build your own power plant, and you still need a transformer to manage it. The box finds you either way. So America sees the problem. The obvious answer is build the capacity at home. And it's trying. Cleveland Cliffs, the same company, the only G.O.E.S maker, is opening a new transformer plant in Weirton, West Virginia, a $150 million project repurposing an old mill, coming online through 2026. Across North America, there's something like a couple $2 billion of announced transformer capacity expansion. On paper, the cavalry is coming. Here's why it won't arrive in time. You can announce a factory in a press release. You cannot announce the grain-oriented steel to feed it, or the skilled winders to build the cores by hand. That workforce takes years to train, and a lot of it retired. You can't conjure a 5-year lead time supply chain onto a 2-year AI timeline. The demand curve is vertical. The supply curve is a staircase, climbed one slow step at a time. That mismatch, fast money meeting slow steel, is the whole story. And it doesn't close just because everyone now agrees it's a problem. So, the chokeholds call, with conviction. The transformer and electrical steel bottleneck, not chips, not generation, becomes the binding constraint on US AI growth through 2027. Expect more build-your-own-power on-site projects as developers sprint around the grid queue, more transformers bought from abroad, and the deficit still grinding on into 2028. You cannot fix a hand-built, single domestic supplier 5-year lead time bottleneck on the timeline the AI boom is demanding. The steel doesn't care how much capital is chasing it, but here's where I want you watching, because two things would flip this. 1. A crash build closes the gap early. If Washington treats transformers like a defense input, emergency permitting, a strategic stockpile, funding to train winders, and Cleveland Cliff's new capacity ramps faster than anyone expects, the queue could clear sooner. Watch for transformers being declared a national security priority. That's the tell. 2. The demand simply evaporates. If the AI capex boom hits an air pocket, a hyperscaler pullback, or an efficiency breakthrough that slashes the power each model needs, then the queue clears on its own, because the surge that overwhelmed it just stops. Watch the capex announcements. If they wobble, so does this whole bottleneck. Neither happens? Then the grey box stays the most important object nobody's talking about. Straight through the back half of the decade, it's a strange kind of bottleneck. Not a blockade, not a ban, not a war, just a hand-built metal box, a single mill in Pennsylvania, and a steel so hard to make that the future of the most advanced technology on Earth is throttled by one of the oldest industries we have. That's the pattern this whole channel is about. The narrowest point is almost never the one everyone's staring at. Last week we showed you the choke point one layer up, the chips themselves, the island that makes 90% of them, and the plan to defuse it that could get it invaded. Chips, then the steel that powers them. Same machine, one layer down. It's on screen now. Follow the chokehold. We'll be watching the next pressure point.